Fall is in the air, y'all. What's up, everybody? This is Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, the founder, and the president of the ONYXCON Foundation. And today, while I'm getting my walk, so this is relationship goals in the art life. And as an artist who is single, in my late 40s, a Virgo, 6'2", y'all like that, didn't you, ladies? You like that, didn't you, ladies? But check it. I have been through a lot when it comes to dating, and I'm reaching an age where I feel like I need more in my dating experience. Today's main topic is about attraction matters, and types matter. Types and attraction do matter. So in America, when I'm watching a lot of dating content and shows and stuff that are on either YouTube or other channels, I notice a lot of people are quick to say, oh, you've got a type. They jump to conclusions if someone starts to express that they have a particular liking of a certain look of a lady, or a certain ethnicity, or a certain hair type, hair length, body type, body, whatever. It's a lot of things, right? But as soon as somebody labels one thing, people jump to a lot of conclusions. And what I'm also noticing is that some people are not allowing people to do that to them. They're like, no, don't put me in a little pigeonhole. I did not say that I do not like anything else other than that other thing I like. I don't only eat one type of food. I don't only like one type of protein or vegetables or starch, but I do love what I love. So in loving what you love, that's what I'm here to share and say it's okay. For ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. And stand on it. Don't let nobody else take you off of what you've decided at whatever stage in life you're in is something you're attracted to for whatever reasons. It don't have to make sense to nobody else in the world but you. And so for me, when it comes to looks, I have a couple of things. I'm gonna give y'all my checklist. And ladies, if you're writing this down, know that it could change. Things change, but I can say that most of what I'm about to say, I don't see it changing, all right? First and foremost, I do have types, right? Short and tall, let me tell you. From having been married and divorced, okay, my ex was tall. She was really tall. I didn't even realize that she was really tall. It just never even occurred to me because I'm 6'2". I am 6'2". Okay, and I also look really good in a nice suit, ladies, and I wouldn't wear this hat with that suit. I know how to come correctly for the different occasions, but when I'm walking and chilling, it's sporty, Joseph. And so, I love ladies that are shorter than me. Typically, I always say, if I can hug you from the back, and your chin, my chin touches the top of your head, or even shorter, you know, right at my chest. Oh, that's so sexy. That's so cute. That's sexy. If you sexy and you cute and you look like that, you know, grown, even if you're young but you're grown, you know, you're educated, you're lovely and beautiful and intelligent and intellectual. You like to be stimulated. You're a sapiosexual, meaning your mind got to be stimulated before your body gets, the rest of your body gets into it. You feel me? So, yeah. And, you know, let's face it, hey, I didn't make the rules. Biology did. And 25 and up is all eligible, you know. And they say the frontal lobe closes, or the brain. The frontal lobe closes at about 25, 26, 27. So, because of that, I generally try and keep it in that range for start. Then when it comes to the height, why am I so serious about this height thing? Well, like I said, my ex was tall, very tall. She was 5'11". Yeah, I know. Some of y'all say, good God, yeah. It was Tyra Banks style, you know what I mean? And I've seen and met Tyra Banks before. That's a tall woman. And she was in heels on top of that, so, hey, Tyra, you know, she's tall. And I think there's a reason biologically That's why so many women, I don't care what ethnicity, I don't care what age, 90-some-odd% of all women, it's a proven fact. It ain't even got to be debated. It's just, you can get the easy questions. You can just turn on a bunch of videos of women talking about their relationship stuff. From watch a Steve Harvey show, watch any little guy on the street coming up to random women of all ages and asking them, well, what do you like? What do you like? The first, at some point, they're going to talk about his height. And they're going to always want that man to be taller. It's biological. I personally feel it's not as biological for men. A lot of us, especially when we're younger, at least that's what it was for me, I didn't care as much back then. I just did say, we'd say that stuff like, hey man, trees get chopped down every day. I heard somebody say, I love climbing trees. I used to talk that tree climbing stuff. I used to talk that I like Amazons and all that until I met too many Wonder Womans. And I said, they're beautiful. They can be beautiful. And I will never take your points away. I'm big on keeping people credited for their beauty. But the chemistry is something that I've found in most of my tall friends. I got a lot of tall homegirls from working on movies and stuff. And they're close friends, some of them just buddies. But with all of them, they have this chip on their shoulder that I think is a result of the fact that we all, men and women, have testosterone and estrogen. And depending on how it's naturally occurring in your body, hopefully it's not being altered by chemical excess through stuff you're putting on your body or eating and drinking, but it happens, okay? And I really do feel, like I say, none of this scientifically proven. Let me just say that because people get all in their feelings when you start stating your opinion of what seems to be a scientific situation. But I think that the taller a woman gets, the more testosterone she may naturally have. So that's real controversial right there. I know I just started I know, I can hear y'all now. Somebody upset. All the giant women are coming for me. They mad. They was feeling me till today. They thought they had a chance till today. Look, it's okay. Calm down. We can still be friends. Most of y'all are in the friend zone. Okay. But I think there's something to it. I really do. And some of my good friends that are tall, like that lady friends, they say it straight up. I mean, I brought this up with someone. They be like, oh, that's true. Or they'll be like, I think I can see that. Because I like to compete with the guys. Like, I like to get out there. Like, if I play basketball with them, I like to dunk on them. And I'm thinking about a friend of mine who said this and had me and my boys howling because she was so aggressive even in explaining herself. And she's just funny like that. And it doesn't, got to mention, she is a comedian too, so there it is. But, after having been through that, and I dealt with a lot of aggression from, the tall situation I was in, and even thereafter when I attempted to deal with some tall women still in dating and stuff, trying to figure it out. And I realized this don't work for me. And I'm not even as attracted to them as I am shorter ladies. So why not go with what works biologically? And I love me some little cute, sexy, short ladies. Anyway, because I know this is an episode dealing with looks and things like that, let me pick everything I see in this picture apart. What you're seeing up under here, that is to help with the pins. They have these very hard little backings, and I don't want that to hit my head. So I put the little moleskin up under there to protect my head. You see what I'm saying? Because I care about my skin. Because I'm a sexy, handsome man, and I don't want to mess up my skin. Yeah. Oh, I know some of y'all laughing, and some of y'all can't stand it because you don't want nobody to be proud of themselves and all that. I know. It's gonna be all right though. We're gonna get through this. Let's keep going. So another thing for me, I told you about the height. I like them short. Ethnicity, I am open to all. Let me say that again. I'm open to all. I grew up in America, in the deep South, in Atlanta, and even deeper South. Like I got relatives in further deep down, sure enough, Georgia. And, I've experienced racism. I've experienced the historic issues of white supremacy in this country and in this state. And I've been discriminated against, and I've felt threatened and all that kind of stuff in my life. You know what I mean? And I didn't go to school, in grade school, around any other ethnicity primarily than black. Now, when I got to college, I went to, Pratt Institute, shout out Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, my first year of college. Now I came back home and finished at Atlanta College of Art. In both situations, being an art school that focused on the visual arts, there were enough black students to have a black student union. at Pratt. There were enough at ACA to have some blacks that could group up and we would all know each other. But that's the thing, like we literally at both schools knew everybody who was black or Latino or other than white. And of course your white friends too. You knew everybody, Asian, everybody. But I'm saying in terms of just knowing folk who were directly black, we all knew each other, and it was a very brotherly, sisterly, cousinly kind of energy at both schools. There were a few people I crushed on in both places, let them know how I felt, tried to have relationships. Things never really manifested. I mean, I had my, mess around. I had some good mess around time at Pratt. When I first got there, this Dominican girl was feeling me. Thought I was Dominican, you know what I'm saying? Hey, mi gente. So yeah, I had that experience, and it was fun, whatever. But it was literally just like a fling type vibe. And ironically, she ended up getting with another black guy, and just got really deep in a relationship, and that was the end of her. There wasn't nobody gonna have another chance with her. He had her on lock. School here in Atlanta, I can remember there was an Indian. Was she Indian? Yeah, Indian and white. She was mixed. Gorgeous. And it was wonderful. And I always had a thing for Indian women. So she was probably one of the first that I ever had a chance to really talk to. I even took her on one date, told her how I was crushing on her and everything. But she had already just kind of friend-zoned me even before the date. And I was trying to butter her up and see what would still happen. But she was only into white guys. So go figure, right? What I'm getting at is there was a limit on access to other ethnicities. With the few that were in my circles, time went on, and I was seeing Atlanta change and become more diverse. And I was having, because of work, to go to areas I never ventured to my whole life. So I'm going to the north side of town, shout out Gwinnett County, because Gwinnett has a strong community of Asians and Latinos and all of that. But by the time I was doing a lot of that, guess what? I was already married. Yeah, I was with my ex, and she was black. We met in school. It was love for real. It was what it was supposed to be at that time in my life. But as time went on, and I knew we weren't compatible and it wasn't gonna work out, we just, we struggled through it, we strained through it. And the whole time, I can remember still meeting people along the way that I think to myself, Lord, I wish I was single. Oh my gosh, I wish I was single. Like, women you would have dated of all kind of ethnicities, whether I met them at work, whether I met them just being out and about with friends or whatever. But it would never be nothing inappropriate because I'm not that dude. If I'm committed to you, I'm with you. Never cheated or anything like that. That wasn't the reason for the demise of my relationship. But I'm sharing this to say, you meet people along the way, and depending on that time in your life, you can realize, man, you may have got yourself caught up way too soon. You need to, stay free for a minute. Hey, what they call the song? Shop around. Hey, you better shop around. I'm open to every ethnicity. And a lot of that came from always being somebody who was into all kind of art because I'm such an artist. As a visual artist first, I didn't just read Marvel and DC comics. I got into not only just manga and anime from Japan, I tried to find out about Korean comics. I tried to find out about African comics. I tried to find out about Indian comics. I wanted to know, like, whatever thing I was into, I wanted to know the worldly version of it. I didn't want just what is available readily in America. I've always been fascinated with the whole world. I've always wanted to travel because of circumstances, and then at a certain point in my life when I reflect, because of personal, what would be the word? Fears and restrictions, to be honest. I would be afraid maybe to travel by myself, or I couldn't see myself doing all that. All the stuff I'm doing now, like literally in my late 40s, doing it, like no more. I'm 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, probably even 80s, 90s if possible, I'm gonna be traveling, okay? Because I love that feeling. And I knew I always would, and when I started it, I felt like, man, I felt a little late to my own party, but never too late, because finally I'm here. And when I walk in the door, I'm the man. Life, I love women of all kinds. I only love the ladies, and I love them from all over the world. Like, for real, I've always been fascinated with other women from other places. Like, I always had this fantasy, even before I got married, I remember, that I would travel the world, try to have a relationship with every type of lady I ever was curious about. And not on some just, I just gotta bang every type of woman. No, like, I really wanna know enough about her culture to know that once we do become intimate, that's like that ultimate accent to what makes this person special. And guess what? I still feel that way. So the other thing that happens because of that, and this is where it's gonna really get deep for a minute. Black women, brace yourselves. And don't dare be offended. Understand, because I'm giving you the history. Like I said, I was married to a black woman. I got nothing whatsoever against black women. I love my people. But the thing is, there's a lot of issues with the Black American experience. Me on here before.
I have.
Which episode? Which one was it?
Oh, pineapples.
What? Not all bad, but bad in ways that for me and things I want and things I'm willing to tolerate and not tolerate, I'm just kind of fed up. When I was coming up, it was common in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't say LA, I didn't say New York, I didn't say all these other much older, way more urbanized, before Atlanta was urbanized, cities. Even now, Atlanta is not nearly as urbanized as a New York, or Chicago, LA, and I've been to almost every place I'm mentioning, so I know from experience, it's just not. And I'm saying what it is though, is forever a town. It's forever got that country energy that makes it special. Now when people started coming here from everywhere else, they brought all their nonsense and good stuff, but the nonsense has changed it forever, right? So even homegrown Atlanta folk ain't what they used to be because of the influences of what was already bad about Atlanta, plus what's bad about everybody else. Blend it all together and you got a hot mess with a lot of perspectives on some stuff. For example, the two-parent household, or the concept of knowing who one's father is, was not uncommon when I was growing up, where I went to school. I gotta stress that, because I went to some of the best schools in APS, the creme de la creme in ATL history. I went to Peyton Forest Elementary School, Southwest Middle School, before they changed the name, and Benjamin Elijah Mays High School. Atlanta's current mayor went to Benjamin Elijah Mays High School. So I'm speaking of a heritage here. I'm speaking of, I always say Atlanta was black excellence before there were hashtags, before there was social media. The real definition of it, with legends like Dr. King, Maynard Jackson, Coretta Scott King, all these luminaries that made this city what it is. And when you come from that kind of heritage, and from parents like I did, who both graduated college, HBCUs, who both focused on excellence and wanted to instill that in their children, it was common that I had peers who came from the same kind of households. Nowadays, I'm ashamed to say, that's not common anymore. A lot of these kids don't have parents like that. Don't have parents who ever wished for anything like that, who ever even experienced anything like that. And that doesn't mean that whatever they do is not worthy or worth anything, because they haven't done anything exceptionally noted or whatever. You know, if you're good people, you're good people. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you got messed up family situations that reflect a constant trope of the fatherless home, and then you realize, oh man, what do you really have in common with somebody coming from that kind of situation when yours is so different? And the saddest part is a lot of times, depending on the person, people can be jealous of you for that, number one. They're not gonna be happy that your situation was that different from theirs. They're gonna wanna see where the holes are in your family, because everybody does have issues. Everybody has issues. They're gonna wanna play those things up to not feel shame about what was wrong with their situation, and on and on and on and on and on. And I've been through that in different ways. And I got fed up with it. Now, well, I guess you could take it back to college with the first Dominican girl I told you about. But like I said, that was more like a fun fling. I would say the first like really relationship vibe was technically after my divorce. And one of the ladies I dated who was South Asian, she was Indian. And the thing about her situation is we both came from a two-parent household. We both came from knowing our fathers And I mean her original biological parents, just like my original biological parents. She had siblings. Everybody was loved and cared for. Everybody went to college. Everybody had these expectations on what you were supposed to be in life. And, you know, if you fell short of some of those things, you were still supported. As long as you're being ambitious and doing something with your life, there's a lot in common. A lot in common. Also, things that were not in common. Things that couldn't be seen eye to eye on. And some expectations that just didn't match. And therefore, compatibility issues. It didn't last, but it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And one of the longest I've ever had since my divorce. So, move forward. Have met other ladies that were more other Latinas, which I tend to enjoy their company too, the most. And I met somebody who was also, you know, two-parent home. Family situation wasn't necessarily as strong as mine in the way her parents related, but they were her real parents, original parents, no steps, none of that. Not that I have any issue with people having step parents. I'm just saying, I don't relate to that directly, okay? Because I know how many people are going to be up, I got to step. I'm not stepping on your little foot. Good. I'm glad you had step parents. I hope people get replacement energy for what is needed to make a house, a family. But I'm saying I don't relate directly to it because it wasn't my experience. And so then that leads to a whole nother heavier psychological thing that happens where with types, I tend to like, and this is let me say, before I say this, there's the projected imagery. I've been watching all my life, like most Americans, we've been watching images that cater more toward European standards of beauty. If you don't say that sentence, you ain't really black and you don't know what we done been through. You know, black folk waiting on you to say that. So you better say it. Yeah, I just said it. There it is. But, okay, black folks are a part of that equation themselves. They mad now. They mad, man. All my life, black women have been straightening their hair in various forms. And I know the history of why. I know how it has evolved from self-hate and turned into variations of self-esteem and beauty standards for their own cultural, community-based logic of why. And then I've seen the adaptation of quote-unquote protective styles. You know, that's the phrase been going for years now. Protective styles like weaves and lace fronts and all of this. And then I've been in the Afrocentric community. I've seen folk who feel like cutting it all off makes them more African. To have it short, to have it bald, to have it, you know, as kinky and tight as they can get it. Or even locked up. They want to lock it, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna say this. I've always felt that when a lady has really nice, well-kept, well-groomed, well-cleaned, everything about them, like she really cares about her hair the same way most black women would care about their weaves, or if their hair naturally grows long and they press it out and it's super long and they just, you know, fingering it and play with it all day and always moisturizing it and caring about it. When I see black women who have locks that do that, I love it. But personally, I've only met maybe less than 1% of black women who had a certain type of hair texture that when they lock their hair, I like the way it felt. Because I don't like the feeling of when it feels kind of rough and hard. To me, this is when it gets controversial, right? For some of y'all, it ain't no big deal. And even there's some folk who got locks who would hear this and they'd be like, yeah, I understand, whatever. Because they honest about their texture. They know that their hair, you know, it varies. Depending on the person, your hair can feel hard, it can feel soft still, it can feel medium soft, medium hard, whatever. It's levels to hair. I used to have hair. I know about some hair, okay? And I've always been fascinated by hair. And I've done a lot of study about hair. And so I've always said I like the way locks look when they're well kept, but I don't necessarily like the way they feel. And so because of that, I've met some really attractive women who decide to lock their hair. And I say to myself, could I honestly be in a relationship Not a complete no, but there is hesitation. So rather than waste somebody's time, be annoyed one day, because you're gonna have moments where you're annoyed with each other. I wouldn't want that to be one thing I want to throw in their face every time we get into it. If they want to pick something apart on me, and I'd be like, well, hell, I don't even like your hair, you know. And I'm not petty like that, because I mean, it's still beautiful. If it's beautiful, it's beautiful. Like, my span of what I see as cute and beautiful is really wide. Some stuff that some people would instantly be like, she ain't no dime, she ain't no 10, whatever. I don't care. She's gorgeous to me. Something about her look is unique, it's beautiful, it's oddly cute to me, whatever. You know, I can be like that. But I know that the older I get, wanting to be in a relationship, that's not gonna work. It's gonna have to be somebody, if I'm waking up to you every single day, you gotta be stunning. You just do. It's just what it is. It goes with the job, you know, because relationships are jobs, and there's different levels to jobs. And I don't want to put nobody through all of what it takes to do a relationship if she don't really make me feel like I'll do anything to stay with this woman, because she's so amazing beyond her beauty. But every time I look at that, I'm reminded it's worth working it out. You know what I'm saying? Fellas know what I'm talking about. You got to feel like that. Not everybody got to feel like that, but guys who relate to what I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about. You need to feel like, man, she's smart, she's funny, she's savvy, she's educated, she's genuine, she's trustworthy, she's ethical. And on top of all that, she the bomb.com. I mean, she just amazing. I'm talking about looking insanely gorgeous. And woo. And let her be the truth behind closed doors. Leave you wanting more. And you better believe I'm giving her the same. That's a beautiful thing. And that's what I'm looking for at this stage in life. I've learned that, like, yeah, okay, I've been indoctrinated all my life with the Euro standard, but people quick to think that if black men like a woman with straighter hair, that's because of the European thing. Not for me. For me, it's just genuinely, I like long, wavy hair. It don't even have to be bone straight in its natural texture. If she got some curl to it, some wave to it, that's fine, as long as it's soft and silky. Soft and the double S, baby. Soft and silky. I can't say it no better way. Because when I've looked at my life and thought about every lady I've been with, like, okay, well, she had curly hair, really curly hair. She had afro hair, you know, like the hair grow out my head, right? And some people say, well, that's what you're supposed to be with. You need to be with somebody who like you. That's our problem. You're trying to deal with everybody else instead of ourselves. Okay, I'm not from that tribe. I'm from the tribe that made the people that look every kind of damn way, because for whatever the circumstances, after all the wars and all the pain, because that wasn't always the reason people mixed and mingled, my family is absolutely living proof on one side, you know. And for the other less favorable pairings and things that happen, can't take it back. Genes is genes. And it's a vendetta that's got to be paid in karma. I just put that with the universe. Universe will avenge. But with white and black mixing, you know, will you marry me? Wasn't necessarily lovey-dovey, because these were some hard-ass people living off the land. So it wasn't necessarily the most sexy relationship. These were some working people. That's another thing. These people have these fantasies about the old relationships of our great-great-grandparents or grandparents or parents. Well, by the time you get to our parents, I would hope that your life was a little easier so that people could really be in love and be sensual with each other. But there was a time when folks just had kids to add another person to the farm hands. There was a time when, you know, she's a good-looking woman. She's strong. Got a strong back. Let's make some children. Let's just do that and tend to these crops and make a life of it, baby. You know, I mean, you know, rub your back after a long day, kiss you every now and then. Get your ass up and get in the field. All right, have my meal on the table when I come in. It better be hot. You got it, man. All right, woman. Love you too. All right. I mean, some folk, that's as simple as it was. I mean, it sounds horrible, right, to some of these modern ears, but guess what? That was then, not your now. And yes, back then there was romance still. There were times where there was romance. I just know for a fact, as I'm making jokes about it, I do know that there were people who were very lovey-dovey in my family, and there were people who were just what I just described. That didn't mean they didn't love each other. It was just a different kind of love. It wasn't shown the same way. But they got together naturally, is my point. And, you know, thank goodness they got together, because I'm here. Straight up. But I think that people who in now are judging women who are black women, let's be specific, I'm just gonna talk what I'm talking, who judging black men who are dating quote unquote outside the race. First, race is a construct of white supremacy. It's right in line with transatlantic slave trade. All of that gave birth to this whole conversation that we all say every day when you wake up in America. At some point in your day, you're gonna hear a news report, you're gonna have a conversation with yourself, your friends, your family, somebody, and you're gonna be talking about the black and the white and the Asian. You know, the Latins, they don't do it, and the black, but you know the white and the black, and we're gonna especially be talking about the white and the black, white and the black, white and the black, because of all the pain, and it's real. I'm not making a joke when I say this, it's real. You know, there's reasons for how we feel. This ain't just come out of nowhere, and we still dealing with post-traumatic stress from slavery. It's in the genes. Trauma is in the genes. It's real. But regardless of all of that, I think one of the number one reasons I'm attracted to, especially Latinas, certain Asians, or most Asians, quite frankly, that are attractive to me. You know, it ain't just any Asian, any Latin, you know, women still got to be beautiful and inside and out, okay? But I think one of the number one reasons is they have because of history, they have a strength in their culture if they come here, or if you go to their countries where there's a certain pride in country because of how things worked out, no matter how bad it is for their caste or their place in the society, if they're not wealthy or what have you. They just have a pride. They have a national pride. They have a personal pride. And some of the things that, as Black Americans, and as Americans in general, that we are obsessed with and always concerned with and frustrated about and fussing about and whatever, they got their own arguments. And they got their own traumas, you know? But the way I've been embraced is different. And it's more in tune with just who I am as an individual. On the look side of things, coming through the 90s, it was, I'll never forget when they started bringing in music videos, R&B and hip hop videos started featuring nothing but the light-skinned, black, shiny hair, long, shiny black hair, you know, milky to, not even milky, just like almond complexion, and never like pale white. They always had that tan look. The Latinas, the lighter Latinas was killing it, all right? And if you look like you were Latin, or if you were mixed that had that look, you know, black and white that had that look, you was killing it. And these were the women we were obsessed with, because this was our teenage years. This is when your loins are on fire, you're going through puberty, and you're looking at these images. I mean, if you think about Janet Jackson at her height, what was Janet's look with probably her biggest sexy focus? I mean, all about, and she's always had sex appeal. But what album was it that made her just, oh my God, Janet is, when she started talking about velvet rope and all that, when she was going through that phase, and she had that weave of that wavy, long, copper hair. We all knew that wasn't her natural hair. She wasn't a cute little girl on Good Times with a pressed out afro hair that was dark black brown, like most black people, and then suddenly she got some copper hair that's all down her back. We knew that wasn't her, but it sure as hell set a look that we was like, hey, okay? Sure enough did the damage. A wonderful damage. It just is what it is. I'm being honest now. Right? Growing up looking at Sheila E. Oh my gosh. Apollonia. Oh my freaking. Vanity? Oh, caramel dripping in my bed. Sing it, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Damn. These are the sexiest women in the world to us back then. You feel what I'm saying? And it set those early crushes, and that's why I understand the power of the industry I'm in when I talk about being in the film business and everything, and imagery and whatnot. You know, it don't change generationally. When my father was coming up, I mean, they really had it bad because they was just coming out of when it was stark in your face, no form of denying that it was colorism. You know, the brown paper bag era and stuff. That was really a mix of my grandparents' era and my parents' era. But like, you know, fools having parties where you can't even get in the door if you ain't lighter than a brown paper bag. So there's the complexion issue in the black community. Then you add in hair texture. Yo, if a black woman's hair wasn't straightened, what's wrong with you? It wasn't until the 70s. I'm black and I'm proud. James Brown dropped that, and other folk dropped songs, and all this black pride, and Vietnam was going on, and all the, I mean, you know, the whole equation. And suddenly some, not everybody, started growing out afros. Even women who couldn't get that because their hair was straighter naturally, their hair, because I worked with senior citizens who told me, baby, I wanted to get an afro. I never could because my hair was too limp. It wouldn't do that. I tried to get a reverse perm to try and get mine to curl up. It was soft. It would get out, but it wouldn't never go into that big ball. I wanted that ball. Everybody had that was really the fly ones. So it was a different time for some in some places. I can't stress that enough because that didn't even apply to everywhere. It didn't. That didn't even apply to everywhere. And if you look at 1970s movies, I'm talking about not one year. Look at any movie that came out with black cinema in the 70s. You're gonna see people who had fros and wigs and weaves. It was the beginning. Well, not really weaves. They hadn't started the weave technology yet. But the wigs, man, the wigs was out of control. And by the time the pimp flavor came in with the Mac, Superfly, all them, oh my gosh, man. There was so much straight wig going on and you know, everybody blending and free love and other, you know, there ain't never been a time in history that people weren't mixing and blending sexually from different ethnicities. But people were crossing them quote-unquote race lines and saying, the hell with it, I like what I like, and I'm going over here, and I might come back and still do this, but I'm going to do that too, and I'm going to do some of this over there. And it was all kind of stuff going on, right? So then we hit the 80s, okay? Things a little different. Hip-hop was different. There was a little bit of pride going on. Folk was doing the high top phase, the Gumbies, all that stuff. You had to have natural hair to get them looks. I'm talking about, you know, mostly black men, but there were women who had their hair like that too. Most of the men, it was a man's thing, but there were women who did it, I'm just saying. And then we got into an era where I can remember, like, by the time I got in high school, everybody had that salt and pepper look. You go back to, push it, that time for salt and pepper. That look, that was every girl in my yearbook. Every girl in my yearbook. Let's be history here. So what am I getting at? I'm saying because of environment, because of differences in how I came up and how my own people who I still love, like everything I just described, how can I go to high school in that era and not love being black? Come on, man. ATL was the ish, and we still are, and I love being black, and I love black women, but it feels more like, at this point in my life, it sometimes feels like I'm trying to date a fifth or sixth cousin to date somebody from America, and one that I know has all these family issues. And even though, like I say, I've dealt with family issues with these other ladies I've dealt with, these other ethnicities, it's just different, because when you address the issues, they can be addressed. Just about anything can be talked about, even if it gets crazy and you still have arguments and stuff, you can at least talk about it without it going just straight to hell. Versus I've been straight to hell and back, unfortunately, trying to keep it at home. So for me, I've found that if I meet a black woman here and we get along great, she's never from here. She's from the Caribbean. She's from parts of Africa, okay? And really, that's mostly it. Or let me not forget, of course, Central, South America, in addition to the Caribbean. Yeah. Brazilians, I always get along with them. Always. Colombia, always. Always. Folks from the Caribbean, always. Always a good vibe with that. You know what I mean? So, but just homegrown American trauma, save the drama for your mama. I'm done. I'm damn near done, y'all. I say damn near because I always say I'll leave the door cracked. Out of respect for being from Atlanta, I always leave the door cracked, but I'm done. And then as far as, like I say, what appeals to me, y'all been training me to love straight hair all my damn life. So if I get a woman who got straighter hair naturally and y'all around here wearing her hair, but she's the one who actually grew it and she don't have your attitude, you damn right I'm over here with Colombia, Philippines, Malaysia, India, what, you name it. Yes. They hugging me right, they kissing me right. They got a look I've been trained to love my whole life and I just genuinely like, you know? Yo, I done touched it all and I like it. Can't help it. It's like you taste something, you like, they told me I'm not supposed to like this, but man, I could eat this for the rest of my life. I'm eating. So I want y'all to eat. I want y'all to be honest. I want you to get with who you want to get with. I want you to keep your buffet long and strong with a lot of variety, especially my young folk. And if you do decide to settle, they need to understand there was always a hell of a lot of competition. So you better know that if you got what I like to look at, you damn sure better be what I need to hear and understand and be around on a mental level, not just the physical. Once I realized there's whole nations of women that look like what was the one or two folk they could capture for some music video back in the day, man, please, you step off a plane in República Dominicana, if naturally big-bootied black women with naturally looks good on them straightened hair is your thing, you in heaven. You in heaven. Straight up, you are in heaven, you know? Or if you like, you know, any complexion, but you just like that long hair and all that, Southeast Asia got some things for you. Malaysia, what's good? Indian women everywhere in the world, what's good? Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it is what it is, and it is what I like. So you look on the West African side of it all, they show enough wearing weaves. Oh my God. And the cake makeup is insane. It's bad to me. If you like that, fellas, get what you get. You like, you know, super chunky. I don't mind a little chunk, but I don't like overweight. I don't want a woman overweight. I like to be able to pick my woman up. I've had some fun with some big girls. I've done my thing. But when I start thinking about relationship, she got to be doing what I'm doing right now. I've been walking till it got dark to make sure I got my miles today. You understand me? And no complaint about it. I'm tired. I ain't that tired. I got to work my body. Let's go. So I can work yours when we get back home, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Holla if you hear me, y'all. Hit the comments. Show your love. Come respectful. I'll never be seen. Hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. Peace.